Hey there, this is Landon Bellum here with the Griffith Home Team at RE/MAX Professionals. Today, we're going to be talking about how to sell your home fast and for more money, particularly in a tough buyer's market like we're in right now. So today I've got with me Nick Trujillo. Is that how you say your last name?
That's right. Yeah, you got
That's
it.
the best I can say it, at least.
Trujillo.
Trujillo.
Yeah, you can roll the Trujillo, the
like
R
that.
if you want to. Yeah.
It's a nice little sound.
That's what happens when I go down to Mexico and then they like check me into a hotel and they say, Senor Trujillo.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, I've been saying it wrong my whole life, turns out. So
it's like, I actually, as much as it sounds like I speak your language, I do not speak your
correct.
language.
Yeah. I just have to say, lo siento. Yeah. I'm sorry.
They probably get that a lot.
Yeah, for sure.
Well, cool. Well, tell us a little bit about yourself. Nick's a fellow teammate of mine on the Griffith Home Team. Tell us a little bit about your background, your experience in real estate, and then we'll dive into it from there.
Sure. Yeah. I've been in real estate for 12 years now. I started out on a team in Keller Williams, and then within 8 months, Dustin and Chad Griffith of the Griffith Home Team started their team, and then I was their first team member. So that was 12 years ago in 2013.
One of the OGs.
Yeah, the OG, I guess you could say.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, for the longest time, I've always told people I've been a Goldilocks agent, where it's like the market has just been up. And then, over the past 3 years, it's just, it's all about adapting and everything.
Yeah,
so
it's gotten a little bit harder.
Yeah, for sure. No doubt. Yeah.
Which we'll talk about, because we were just talking out in the hallway about it. It's tough and it feels tough. And listings in particular are not flying off the shelf like they have historically over the last, like you said.
Yeah, it used to be a piece of cake.
12 years. Yeah.
Yeah.
So we'll get into all that. Like I said, today we're talking about how you can sell your home, do it quickly, get more money out of it, all that good stuff. So, but a little teaser here, because every episode that I do a section. The last segment of the episode is called Houses of Horrors.
Okay.
And I just like to tease it here so that people stick around and watch to the end. But so I'll go over one of my nightmare stories in real estate. And if you have one to share, Nick, too, we'd love to hear it. But
you bet.
My teaser to my Houses of Horrors section of this episode is how I got woken up to see that my seller was still living in the home that she just sold, and then having to move her out during a snowstorm. So we'll get into that at the end.
Perfect.
How about you? Do you have a teaser for anything that you'd like to talk about?
Yeah, I mean, I would say as a teaser for it would be renovations starting before the closing.
Oh,
so
big no there.
Yeah, that's my
not allowed to start.
Absolute horror. So I'll tell you how that all happened.
Sounds good.
Yeah.
I'm excited. That's going to be awesome. Okay, well, let's get into it. So, I mean, again, we're talking about selling homes here. And right now, it is not a very smooth market to sell a home. So I know a lot of sellers, current listings that I have, current active sellers that I have, or other ones that are preparing to sell their home, they're worried about it. They're how do I sell my home? Is there anything that I can do differently to get it to sell quicker than maybe the average market is selling? And what can I do to be selling it for more money? And that is always an applicable question I have found. What do I need to do?
No doubt.
Yeah. What do you think about, just as a general overview of the topic, what are your just initial thoughts?
It's funny because I feel like it really just is depending on the seller in terms of their time frame needs, and then the strategy, you take it from there, like what the seller is willing to do, what they're not willing to do,
what they have money to do or not.
Yeah, really, to me, it's just all about, pricing strategy. If you're going to do the work to, make it stand out, or if not, price accordingly. Try to build in some buffer so people see the value that, is in the property to bring it to its highest potential. But yeah, that's probably been the trickiest part this year,
Well, I agree with you there. I think the number one thing, if you truly want to sell your home fast, and if you truly want to get more money out of it, it's funny, you've got to price it right. Like the answer to that is, it's really the number one thing is all about the pricing. Yeah. Because there's kind of two sides to it. You can price it right in line with, what maybe the market value is, which is great, and that can get the home to sell, maybe not necessarily fast in a down market like this, but it'll sell faster than if you make the cardinal mistake of trying to get too much.
Correct.
If you price it too high, you're dooming yourself in a market like this. And at the
100%.
same side of the coin, or at the other side of the coin, if you price it too low, maybe you'll sell fast. Maybe you won't still in a market like this, because it's not always just about the price. It's about the buyers out there, the market that's demanding the sale. But you could leave a ton of money on the table
100%.
if you price it too low. So how do you navigate that in terms of maximizing the profit that a seller is going to get from the proceeds, but also not going too high or too low? What are your thoughts on that?
Well, in the past, I feel like the market was so much more predictable.
Yeah.
And you can base it very simply off of what's sold and what's sold around you and how you compare. And I think more so this year than ever, you're having to take into account what's active and what you're currently up against.
Yeah.
Not just in like the standard 1 mile radius. You got to pretend like you're a buyer that's looking at that price point, and then determine how you fit within all of that, within the greater market, especially with more and more listings being on the market and more buyers to choose from. I think just the raw stats of sales, it's like you can't go back 6 months. The market has changed. The prices have changed. Yeah.
Yeah, well, I agree with that. It's almost like, so the term that we use as agents, especially on the listing side, is comps. Let's run comps or look at comparable properties that have sold.
Yeah.
And we're going to base your pricing off of that. If you've got one that's same or similar bedrooms, bathrooms, square feet, finishes on the inside, that's a good comp. That one sold for 600. We're looking pretty good at 600 too, right?
Yeah, correct.
It's almost like in this market, you have to price more in line with the active inventory, like you're saying. Those are more important, the ones that are actively on the market that haven't sold, than the ones that actually sold.
Yeah.
Because I've got 3 listings right now in Castle Rock and a couple on the north side of Denver. And all 5 of those I feel are priced really, really well with the sold comps.
Correct.
And historically, that's all you needed. Or priced good, a buyer will come. There's buyers out there.
Yeah.
Doesn't feel that way. My pricing is it even feels slightly aggressive, slightly below it.
Sure.
And still getting, I'm lucky across all of them if I'm getting 5 showings throughout the week.
Yeah, that's a conversation you have to have with your seller, is like you have to be willing to adapt quickly, because things will change from week to week. From the week that you listed it, what's on the market at that time, to the next week, all of a sudden those other 3 that you were comparing to that are active on the market just dropped by 10 grand, and now you stand out as overpriced. So it's you have to consider everything, and then just let people know that, hey, the market's changing and we have to adapt as well. Or get ahead of it.
Yeah, exactly. Well, it's almost like I was thinking, because again, with all these listings, I feel like a lot of them are priced right in line with the market value, right?
Yeah, correct.
The price per square foot is in line with these other sold ones and stuff, but it's not, it's almost like you have to, okay, this is what in a perfect market, this home's value is. Now go down 15,000 or 25,000, depending on the price point, because this is a market where there's a lot of uncertainty for buyers. Interest rates haven't softened like how we've anticipated or hoped. Tariffs have caused a level of unpredictability or uncertainty with buyers and their investments and their money and their net worth. There's all sorts of things at play right now that have buyers on pause more than I've ever seen, maybe more than you've ever seen.
Yeah, right now you could, I have a listing in Arvada, and it's like if you priced it based off comps and what it would appraise for, I'm confident I can get this thing appraised 25 grand higher than where we're sitting right now, just based on sold comps within the last 180 days.
Yeah.
But that's not what it's worth right now. I always say that there's like 3 prices. There's the price you think it's worth, the price it'll appraise for, and then the price you're actually going to get.
The price that a buyer's willing to pay for.
And that's the market value.
That's right.
Yeah.
And right now, I think if I could just put my finger on like the biggest issue out there, is that the demand is lower than it's been in a long time.
Yeah.
AKA there are less buyers out there actively shopping than there have been in a long time. And that's why you could have a home that's priced well, but there's just not that many people looking for it. So looking out there for that. And so the way that I've been breaking it down and telling my clients is, hey, it comes down to the 2 P's right now. It's either pricing or patience. Our pricing could be great, in line with market value.
Yeah, that's
fantastic.
Perfect.
But even then, it's not. Homes aren't selling very quickly, except for a few hot spots throughout town. But if you want it to sell quickly, it's pricing. So you need to get aggressive. And that hurts to do.
It is hard, especially when the seller says, well, I could be patient. And they actually can. Like I actually have 2 sellers right now that are just, it's fine. Let's just go for it no matter what I say. And here it sits. Yeah, Fortunately, they're not in a position where they need to take this home and buy, but it's exactly what I expected. It's like I'll be as patient as you want me to, although it's hard because you're just sitting there like, I got to get this house sold. Yeah, exactly.
Well, and the hardest part I think comes down to when you have some sellers that don't have the luxury to be patient because they've got a job to get to, and they don't have the margins within their equity in the home to be aggressive on price. They
Correct.
can't adapt to those two Ps. I've got one in Castle Rock. They bought it a year ago.
Or they need to buy.
Exactly. Or they need the funds to go buy.
Yeah.
Got one where they've got a job out of state listing. They bought it a year ago, so there's not very much room there. There's no room there. And now it's like, okay, can't really get aggressive on price because you can't take that big hit. Because there's no equity to take that hit for you, and you got to get somewhere. So that's where it gets really tricky. You can't really wait.
Correct.
And you can't really get aggressive on the price. So it's tricky. It's hard out there. And one thing that I've been loving to show, Nick and I have access to a software where we can actually pull we can take the zip code and take the comparable data of a listing or of a home for sale, and we can say, okay, show me the average listings per month for this area, for these comparable homes at this price point and size. And that data, every time I pull it in this market, is just, it's dropping my jaw. It's shocking me because I'm having to go and take that to my sellers and say, hey, just so you know, average right now in this community is 2 showings per listing per month.
Yeah.
So if you're getting 3, you are beating the market.
Correct.
And we're at 4.
Yeah.
And I know 4 feels incredibly painful, but we're beating the market there, and there's just not that many people out.
Yeah, that is incredibly frustrating to see because I'm right there with you on a couple of my listings where it's you look at the showing volume and you're outpacing the market. However, I mean it's a combination of 2 things. There's right now it's just a lack of buyers, and there's influx of, especially right now in the dead of summer. High inventory, so you have to find a way to stand out in some way.
Exactly. Well, let's get into that because we kind of talked about pricing. This is not a market where you can afford to price it too high. A lot of sellers are like, oh, let's just give it a shot. I want to see how it will do with this. You can't do that.
What do you tell them happens when you do?
Well, if you do that, what I tell them is, hey, you're probably, there's a higher likelihood of pricing too high to actually get less than what you would get as a net if you would just price it either at the market value or a little bit below it.
That's what I say as well. Yeah. It's like we could go, if you want to go for it, that's fine. However, this is how I see this playing out. And
here's what's going to happen. We're going to be on for 30 days, 60 days.
And then the more that number ticks up as days on market, the more of a stigma is on your property. People are going to find that they have a wider margin in their heads of negotiation to beat you up. Whereas I always tell my sellers too that the market will tell you what your house is worth. So if you list it for what I think it's worth, I think, or actually better yet, put it this way, if we list it too high, it's going to sit, and we're going to be able to track that. We're going to know immediately based off of feedback and activity and everything. And then we might have to make a price adjustment over time, and then we're chasing the market. You could price it for what it's worth, and then we'll sell ideally in like an average amount of time. We'll get an average amount of activity, and boom, we'll be right in line with the market, hopefully. But if you price it too low, what's even now possible to happen is you get a flurry of activity, you get multiple offers, the price will be bid up, you'll get a stronger contract, you'll be able to choose your buyer, there's less that you'll have to do come in the inspection time. So it's like choose your path.
Options. It's better to have options even if they're lower than what you were hoping for than to be on the market for 90, 120 days and have no options. And what I tell my people is, hey, think of it from a buyer's perspective right now. Think about how crazy unaffordable the market is. Interest rates are still high. Down payment, like the amount of money that you have to bring to the table to get that monthly payment to where it needs to be is difficult. And think about it this way. If you were a buyer and you were going to go purchase a home and you see that home's been on the market for 120 days, what are you going to do? Are you going to give them what they're asking? Or are you going to say, hey, Landon, what do you think about coming in $50,000 below asking price? And
on top of that, once you get into the contract and then you get an inspection, I would say, I guess before 2022, it would be, as the seller, it's somebody comes to you with a laundry list of inspection items. You're like, no, thank you, next buyer. Whereas now, if you're sitting on the market and you negotiated the price down, that's still irregardless of what happens on the inspection.
You still got more negotiations to come. It's not over.
And now you don't have any leverage. So you're giving up not only in value, but in price, but also in your leverage in the transaction itself.
Very good point. I actually, and it's rare, but there still are homes flying off the market, and they're the ones that are doing the things that we'll be talking about. And those, like, very similar situation. I was just in one where I helped a buyer overcome. There's 5 offers on the table, including ours, and we wanted out. And it came down to when we came and had requests for the inspection of, hey, we'd like you to do this, this, and this to make the home better. They're like, we've got 2 backup cash offers. We're probably not going to do those. We'll do these because those guys will ask us to do those things too. But we're not going to do these. So you're right. The leverage that it provides to price it at the value of the market or a little below just to get that intense interest, it makes you as the seller have so much more leverage to say, you're not going to beat me up in the inspection.
Correct.
Where buyers in a lot of inspections out there.
Carpet concessions.
Yeah. No way.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
But in another market or another listing that's been on for 120 days, it's like,
well, we kind of have to. Yeah.
Because now we've lost 2 weeks.
They might actually walk away because they have 100 other houses. That
Tons to see. So yeah, I agree with all that. I think it's interesting. But I think the first price, you will immediately set yourself behind if you price it incorrectly, meaning too high. But next thing that I kind of wanted to talk about that can set yourself away from the competition is staging. And there's a couple different sides to staging. If it's a vacant house, you're not living in it, you can fully stage it with a professional's furniture. Or if you're living in it, you get a staging consultant to come out and give you recommendations on what to do to make your house better and more appealing to the buyer psychology. Yeah. What are your thoughts between the two? Do you usually recommend one or the other, or does it just depend on?
I feel like it just totally depends on the seller's situation and where they can go and if they can leave it vacant. I feel like sometimes I don't think I've ever talked the seller into saying, hey, this would be better vacant and staged. Yeah. That it seems as if it's just dependent on their situation. On their situation.
Oh, you're going to be living in it? Okay.
Yeah. You want me to sell it? You guys got to move out and hand it over. Hand me the keys. I'll take care of this thing. Like where are they going to go? Yeah.
Right.
But those are the two things that you pretty much have to do in this market. If it's a vacant home, in the last year more than ever, I've invested heavily into staging, and it's made a world of difference to standing out in the market. I mean, the photos turn out better. The feeling inside is better. I mean, there's a reason that model homes of new builds are all fully furnished and decked out and designed. Yeah, I mean, there's a reason for that, for sure.
Fall in love with it.
Yeah.
Well, it amazes me every time because sometimes you'll be out with a buyer and you'll go and you'll show them 5 homes and they're all basically the same. Yeah. And let's say like the first one you saw is vacant. Seriously, this happens where it's like, I didn't love it because of this, this, and this. And then you go to one that's almost virtually the same price, same floor plan, and it's staged, and it's like, I love this home. This is awesome. Yeah. And it's like in your head, you're like, yeah, it does look great, but it also is basically the same as what we just saw. I mean, it's a psychological thing where if it looks nice and presentable.
I also think that when you walk into a house that's staged, and it can hide things a little bit better. Sure. You know what I mean?
Not that you're trying to be sneaky.
I'll do whatever I can. I'll do whatever I can for my sellers. Sure. But if we're trying to hide, we're not trying to hide anything, but if more so if you have 2 of the exact same houses. Yeah. And people will look at the potential of a home, which is what you could see better with staging. Yeah. And lipstick, like painting and new carpet and stuff.
And a lot of my sellers would argue like, hey, well, maybe we should leave it vacant because then the potential buyers can picture their own furniture in here instead of mine. Yeah. And it's like, I get that. And I think that does work sometimes. And I don't think that's a bad approach. But I think the stats and the psychology through it just proves that, hey, if it's staged and it looks good and presentable and it shows the potential, they'll be able to see their furniture in it one way or another, vacant or not. Yeah. But I think you need them to feel a certain way when they're walking that home, and staging does a great job at that. Sure. Yeah. Yeah, and all the furniture that they use is like, they have a wide range of like, I don't know what you'd say, vibes that they can set based on the property and everything. So it is cool to see kind of what they can do with a space. Totally changes it from what they lived in and looked like, and all of a sudden the feel is very more like modern or rustic or whatever. Mountainous or something, Oh yeah. They're and for those that aren't fully staged and vacant, I've been using the same staging consultant for a decade now. You use Roxanne? Roxanne, I use her every time. Red Chair for every property. Is it Red Chair Designs? Red Chair, yeah. But I mean, I love sending her out to properties because it's like people will have me out, we'll have our appointment and everything, and one of the first things they ask is, well, what should we do? Should we take this down? And it's like, man, I don't have to be the bad guy and tell you that, like, we got to do everything here. Yeah, we got to do everything here. Roxanne's a bad guy. Yeah, Roxanne just comes in there and
she's done it for so long. She's got an eye for interior design, which is, I think, her main job.
Yep.
And then she just gives that full checklist so people know exactly what they need to do from room to room. And I've seen it. I've seen her turn places around. The sellers that do the most on that checklist, it pays off for sure.
It does. It literally pays off. Like you're saying it pays off like it's worth it. No, it like literally pays off with money that you get in your bank account when you sell the home.
Exactly.
Like it's literally a payoff. It's so worth it.
Yeah.
She's incredible because again, this is for those people who need to kind of stage the home because they're still living in it. We're not putting in new furniture here. We're having Roxanne go out and walk your home and tell you what of your belongings or designs to take down, what to leave up, how to rearrange it. And she's not mean about it. She's not like, as much as we say, like, oh, she could be the bad guy. Like, she's very nice and kind about it.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, she'll tell you straight up, like, hey, all your family stuff, all your religious stuff, anything with weapons, all that. Like,
it's what people need to hear.
They need to hear it.
Yeah.
It's amazing how quickly. So, for example, I'll give an example. I was helping some buyers look at a home. It would have been a good fit, fully renovated. It was a really nice home. But the home had like a political statement in it that they just did not agree with. They were very much the other way.
Yep.
And it immediately turned them away, and we left, and they never looked back. And so political things, religious things,